How's it going, everybody? Thank you very much. I always appreciate you hanging out for a little bit. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Welcome to another classic movie review. Camping with the family right now. Camping is one of my favorite things to do this time of year in the summer. And since it's the perfect setting for one of my favorite summer comedies, I want to talk about a 1988 comedy classic from director Howard Deutch, the director of Some Kind of Wonderful, also directed Grumpy Old Men, and I believe he also directed Pretty in Pink. I am talking about The Great Outdoors. This stars the late great John Candy and pairs him with the great Dan Akroyd, two of my favorite funny men. In this classic 80s comedy, John Candy plays the character of Chet Ripley, who brings his family for a vacation where his father used to take him back in the day when he was a kid. He wants to relive old memories with his kids. He has two sons, a younger son, like a younger teenager, and then an older teenager who's getting interested in girls and all that. And so you also have Annette Bening here playing Dan Aykroyd's wife. She plays the role of Kate. At the start of the movie, John Candy's character Chet Ripley and his family show up at Wally and Juanita's Perks Pine Lodge, this place where, like I said, he went to with his dad when he was a kid. And they show up at this cabin. It's a pretty nice, cozy cabin, has a nice family vibe for a family vacation. In the movie, it looks like a fairly good sized cabin, but when I went to Universal Studios and saw it in person, it looked a lot smaller. But yeah, that's movie magic, I guess. But they have a problem with raccoons getting into their garbage, and there's constantly just one misadventure after another. And the whole movie is a clash of these two personalities. John Candy is more of a down-to-earth family man kind of guy, and Dan Aykroyd's character Roman is more of a outspoken kind of businessman type. And John Candy is more of a hot dog guy, and when he brings up the hot dogs, his brother-in-law has to one-up him with the lobsters because Dan Aykroyd's character is more of a lobster guy. John Candy's character wants to take his son out for a little ride on a boat, a little like rowboat, but that's when Roman comes out with the speedboat, and so he's always trying to one-up him basically, and always pissing off Chet, John Candy, and yeah, it's just one thing after another. They go to this restaurant, and the whole family is watching as John Candy is eating this giant steak that if he eats the whole thing, then everybody eats for free, and the steak is called the Old 96er, I believe. And yeah, he's just taking one bite after another. Everybody's supporting him, and Roman is acting like the coach. They go to the lake, and John Candy's character Chet is trying to show his young son how to water ski, and he's holding onto the rope, and that's when Dan Aykroyd's character just takes off, and he's dragging John Candy all around the lake. So much fun stuff about this movie. So many great things about John Candy and Dan Aykroyd in this, but the stuff that does kind of drag it down for me in certain scenes are the parts with the teenage son, John Candy's son, because it has a side story with him trying to get this little summer fling going on with this local girl where they're camping, and she's played by the actress from, I believe she was in The Boy Who Could Fly. I don't remember her name, but remember she was in that. And yeah, she's a pretty good actress, but the side story just kind of, just takes me out of the movie every now and then because don't really care for it. I also want to mention that there is little bear action in this movie. There is a moment where John Candy tells a story to the family, all in fun, that scares the crap out of them. A lot of good laughs in this movie, but there's also quite a bit of heart as well. As you see by the end of the movie, Roman's character has a nice little development by the time it's over. And yeah, I really like seeing Dan Aykroyd and John Candy just together in a film. This isn't the first time, I believe, or maybe it is, I'm not sure, but I know it's not their last. I believe they were also in Nothing But Trouble together, a movie that Dan Aykroyd directed, and Candy played a couple of roles in that. And yeah, these two guys are great together. Of course, John Candy, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Uncle Buck, and Spaceballs, and Dan Aykroyd, Ghostbusters, and Trading Places, The Blues Brothers, My Girl, Dragnet, goes on and on. Two of these guys are both great, and it's really sad that we lost one of them so early in his prime. Always gonna miss John Candy. I always wish that the guy was still around making funny movies. Both of these guys could also be really good, serious, dramatic actors when they wanted to. And there are little moments in this movie where you get just little teeny hints of that, a little bit of that, but for the most part, it's a very kind of wacky, silly, funny summer romp. And it's a movie that wasn't a big box office success or a critical success at the time, but I think people have warmed up to it throughout the years. I think it got kind of a cult following. It was a movie that was rented a lot and seen on home video and seen on cable a lot back in the day by a lot of people. And so throughout the years, it has a steady following of people that have been catching on more and more because it is a pretty damn funny movie. I mean, you got Dan Aykroyd and John Candy together, so what's not to like? But I give this movie 3.5 stars. It's one of my favorite comedies. If you like a good summer comedy and you want to have a few laughs, check out The Great Outdoors from 1988. And you guys know my videos aren't behind me, but that doesn't mean I didn't bring a copy to show you guys, because because I brought it so I could show you the DVD, because I'm a physical media kind of guy and I support physical media. And if you want to look for it on streaming, I'm sure you can find it somewhere and rent it on some streaming platform. But yeah, The Great Outdoors from 1988, a funny classic 1980s summer film. Check it out. Thank you all very much for watching this classic movie review. I very much appreciate it. I'll be back home in a couple of days so I can get ready for my next classic movie review. And so those of you that are into this kind of thing, if you're into movies or classics, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications on more reviews from me coming out very soon. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for all your support. I very much appreciate it. Please don't forget to comment, share, like. It always helps out. And I'll see you on the next one. Everybody take care of each other. Till next time, peace out. God bless.